Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Zuffa Boxing just has a new signing. It is Jai Opetaia. Let's talk about it.
I would be lying to you guys if I didn't say I wasn't disappointed in Jai Opetaia. Unfortunately, it's begun. The UFC has implemented your plan, and I'm going to lay it out for you guys. That way you guys see exactly what they're going to do and eventually what it's going to turn into. So Jai Opetaia, cruiserweight champion, phenomenal champion, by the way. Great body of work, dominant. Love to see it. I'd love to see him and Zurdo go at it. Unfortunately, Jai Opetaia signed with Zuffa Boxing. Here's why it bothers me that he signed with Zuffa Boxing. What's going to happen is a lot of the lower known fighters and the fighters that don't make quite as much money as the superstars are going to get thrown a nice entry package into Zuffa Boxing, right? Probably a cushy little deal, nice little money, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, it's going to reel in a lot of people that don't make the money that they believe that they deserve to make. And once they get enough boxers in, they're going to try and kind of corner the market, right? Get as many of those names in there. That way, you technically have to fight in Zuffa. And at that point, they're going to start offering less money to new people coming in. Because now you've cornered the market, right? You have the talent that you want in the building, and now you can say, well, I offered that package to people coming in, but I don't know about you. And they're going to offer them lower money. And then once they get more people in under these basically forced contracts, so to speak, they're going to lower it even more. Again, the pay has been leaked. Champions are going to be making something in the $100,000 area. And I'll be honest with you guys, that's literally nothing to even what I personally consider B-level talent in the boxing game. The fact that these people are going to be making pennies to what they're currently making in the free market of boxing is kind of sad. I'm disappointed in Jai Opetaia because I'll be honest with you, I actually thought I kind of thought highly of him, if I'm being honest with you. Again, I wanted to see him and Zurdo fight. I thought it would be a great fight. If I'm being honest with you, I actually favor Jai Opetaia in that fight. But if I'm being completely honest, this is disappointing. It's disappointing because I knew there was going to be some sellouts, absolutely. I knew that. I just didn't think it was going to come this quick, and it was going to be with a notable name like Jai Opetaia. It's sad that it's come to this, and unfortunately, I do think this is the beginning of an ugly part of history for boxing, because Dana White is not a man to be trusted. As you can see, he's ripped off UFC fighters for decades now. He is definitely not giving UFC fighters their worth, and he's going to try and do the exact same thing with Zuffa Boxing. I'm hoping that some people will see past this because the truth is they're not going to make as much money. They may get a little bit of attention, sure, but the reality of the circumstances is they're not going to get paid what they're worth. They're just not. Dana White has never been the guy. He's never been the guy to be generous with offering. Imagine you're a boxer and they offer you a $50,000 bonus. Like, yo, bro, most boxers scratch their ass with that shit. It's insane. So I'm truly disappointed in Jai Opetaia, despite him being a phenomenal champion, a great boxer, absolutely dominating. I'm sad to see him as one of the first names to join up with Zuffa Boxing. It's crazy, but, unfortunately, here we are. What do you think about that, my man?
It is incredibly disappointing because if it was, I think the only big name that Zuffa Boxing had on their belt, which is going to be at their preliminary event, that's actually going to be on the prelims of an Apex card for the UFC. The biggest name that they had at the time was Caleb Walsh. And again, Caleb Walsh is, if that's their biggest signing, I'm like, okay, good luck, whatever. Yeah. But the fact that they had Jai Opetaia, who is, for context, 29-0, 23 of those are by KO, IBF champion and the ring champion at cruiserweight. And part of the reason why that bothers me is the fact that Jai Opetaia actually has claim to possibly be one of the greatest cruiserweights that we have active at the moment. And B, that he's got at least 2 of the 5 big belts that we have under them. And the other part that bothers me is that one of the plans that Zuffa Boxing has is that as far as championship goes, any other belts can be fought under the Zuffa organization. But as far as the ring belt, that stays only on Zuffa programming. And the fact that Jai Opetaia already has the ring belt under him, that's already one corner of the market that they have. All they need is the rest of them to fall under. Every single one of them, under every single weight division, just needs to come under Zuffa Boxing's hands. And guess what? The game is at least over for at least the 5 belts that we have under there. Now, problem that I have with that is not only does it look like the only way you can get the ring belt is if you sign with Zuffa Boxing, which already seems like an exclusive deal in and of itself. But the other part about that is the fact that Zuffa Boxing is kind of tied in with the UFC in and of itself. Now, you might think to yourself, okay, it's going to be it's a preliminary event at an Apex card. Who gives a shit? Who really cares about the Apex card? Well, it wouldn't have been a problem if you find out what their programming deal was. Now, again, the UFC has signed with Paramount. Paramount in and of itself, while not a grand service that absolutely everybody has, like Netflix, for an example, I will say at the very least, Paramount at least has a better standing than PBC does on Amazon Prime. By all accounts, PBC on Amazon Prime, I have heard nothing but complaints from everybody about the broadcasting and the fact that fights there, as far as advertising goes, is damn near abysmal and at worst, absolutely non-existent. People aren't even aware that the fights are even happening on PBC and Amazon Prime until the day of. And even then, we tried to actually watch a couple of fights, and on the day of, we couldn't find it. Absolutely abysmal programming there. And just recently, Golden Boy has now ended their contract with DAZN. The fact that 2 big programming tie-ins have basically, one of them is basically abysmal and the other just ended. That is one more corner of the market that Zuffa Boxing can basically take the boxing world by helm. Not just by the holding of the title belts, at least one major one at least, but the fact that they already have a good programming under their foundation is going to be one of those things that it's going to set a foundation for having a good step forward. And the fact that the Ali Act has already passed Congress and all that, and it's just waiting on the House of Representatives right now to be fully signed and passed on to the president, it's already not spelling a good sign for the world of boxing. Could Jai Opetaia make a good amount of money for this? You know, as us personally, we absolutely advocate for fighters getting the best money that they can out of their deal for themselves, so that way they can ride off into the sunset for their own selves. I will not lie, for Jai Opetaia, this might be a good deal. This might be a good deal for him in the short term. For boxing as a whole, this is the beginning of the end. At the very least, this is the beginning of the end for major boxing in North America, and it's all because of 2 people, because of Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh. And unfortunately, I'm sad to see that this is going to be the first major step. And keep in mind, it is a first major step for the decline of North American boxing. Am I being too harsh or am I being pragmatic? What do you feel about all that?
I mean, I do agree that unfortunately it is directly because of Dana White and Turkey. And it's crazy because, you know, Turkey is going to be doing deals with a lot of different people between now and when Zuffa is, you know, fully running down the street. So he's going to be doing deals. You know, he's got a deal coming up with Canelo, where they're doing like the Canelo promotions in September, I believe. He's still got a couple deals with Eddie Hearn going on. I mean, there's going to be other fights, right? But the long-term goal is to corner the market and then just do everything you absolutely want with it. And that's sad. That's sad because at the end of the day, technically, these guys are independent contractors. The boxers are. So the reality of the circumstances is they don't even really work for these companies. They just got a deal to work with them. But the deal is an exclusive deal, meaning, yeah, you can fight here, but you can't fight nowhere else. And that's bullshit. Because if I don't technically work for you, why can't I work somewhere else? I don't know, man. Again, this is just the first step. And unfortunately, again, it did take a big bite out of the cruiserweight division because Jai Opetaia is absolutely dominant. Great champion, phenomenal work. And I think now, unfortunately, the Zurdo fight between him and Jai, even though it was already didn't look like it was very likely for it to happen, now it's even less likely to happen. It's sad to see, and I'm sad that someone like Jai Opetaia didn't really think about this more long term. Didn't think about the long term of the sport that he loves, the sport that he's made a profession out of. Because I do think that this is going to be one of those scenarios where, unfortunately, this is the first step into something very, very ugly for the sport of boxing. But listen, man, that's just our opinion right now. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping I'm wrong, guys. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But the fact of the matter is that we've seen who Dana White is. We know who Dana White is. We have a 20-year track record of who Dana White is. And he's not a good person, man. So we'll see what happens. It'll be not so fun to watch. But, you know, we'll definitely keep you guys up to date with what's going on with that. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.